So once again, my show and tell is a little extra video clip at the beginning of my video instead of being live with me showing it to you, because this piece is just too big for me to take off the wall and try to show it to you in front of my little iPad screen. So I thought I would share this with you today. This is one of the most absolutely favorite things that I have ever in my whole life stitched. This is Blackbird Designs Christmas Garden, and I worked on this faithfully. One of the few projects my entire life that I really just could not put down. I worked on it. It took about 6 months from start to finish, and I worked on lots of other things at the same time, but this piece never left my floor frame. There's only, what, four different colors, 4 different threads. And I used cotton. I used Crescent Colorworks and Gentle Arts threads in this design. There's only 4 different colors. There's no back stitching. I cannot remember what linen I used. I'm pretty sure it was a 32 count, something. But 2 strands over 2. So it's quite a large design, and I absolutely love it. I splurged last year on the framing of this piece, and I had Neil at Thread and I work his magic and help me choose some matting and a frame for it, and I absolutely love it. This one hangs on my wall year round. I do not take this one down because I just love it. So I'll give you a little close-up of some of the detail in there so you can see. Just 4 colors, but when put together, just so effective. And I have all of the initials of my immediate core family, the 4 of us. The initials of the 4 of us are on this piece. And I believe there was room for 5 or 6 different places to put initials. I love it. I absolutely love it. And thanks for letting me share. Don't you just love that Christmas garden? I love it so much. I would actually stitch it again. But I don't think I could give it away. So I would stitch it again, but I'm not sure I could actually give it away to anyone else. They'd have to be pretty special and really want it. I'd have to know ahead of time that they really wanted it, and then I might stitch it for them. I'm selfish like that. Anyway, hello, happy Monday. It is Monday, December the 11th already, and wow, what a week it's been. It's been a wonderful week. We've had snow. There is more snow in the forecast, which I'm so excited about, and you know, it's stitching weather, and I've got some Instagram friends out in Australia and New Zealand, and I know it is warm, especially Crafty Curator just mentioned this morning that tomorrow for them is supposed to be 34 degrees Celsius, which is hot. That is hot. So hopefully I'll send a few icy thoughts her way, and maybe that will help her think cool thoughts. So for those not in snowy weather at the moment, if that's not what you enjoy, maybe you're happier anyways. So I love snow, so I'm thrilled. Snow squalls are actually in our forecast for tomorrow, and I'm kind of excited about that. So I'm going to get right into things today because I have a lot to share with you. It has been a really busy week. I was thrilled with the response that I got from my house tour at Miss Patty's house last week, and I am so thrilled that you were just as tickled with her as I am, because I had a feeling that you would like her as much as I do. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady, and her stitching is incredible. Absolutely amazing. And to be able to see it in person, and to be able to sort of have a little snoop around her house at all of her projects, and dreaming of different ideas of things that I would like to do here for my home as well, was really, really special. And it was extremely kind of her to let us in. And she has been blown away by the response, your comments, and the kind words that you have said to her. She has read every single one, and I know she also appreciates it. So thank you so much. And there may or may not be a little extra surprise during one of the Vlogmas episodes, either this week or next week, with Miss Patty her very self. And I'm going to save more of the details until later when I know a little bit more, but I'll definitely give you a heads up when there's going to be something coming up so that you don't miss it for sure, because you won't want to miss it. She's fantastic. Let's get right into whips, because I am finally stitching again, and it's so exciting. I cannot tell you, I am just thrilled to have had some time this past weekend to get back into my stitching. I've missed it so very much. So starting with Friday, I recorded and put up a Stitch With Me video, and just a little bit more information about that. It is called Friday Off the Grid, and it is, anywhere from half an hour to an hour of me stitching and chatting to you while you stitch your own project, whatever project it is that you're working on, and we're just company for each other, which I love. So this Friday Off the Grid has sort of just a little background before I show you my whip. I am by no means the first person ever to come up with a Stitch With Me video. I think you all know that. Lots of people have them, and really lots of really wonderful Stitch With Me videos are out there. And Letitia, the crafty curator, put up an episode this weekend because I asked her to, and she is such a good friend. She honored my request, and she did her very own Stitch With Me video as well. And when she was talking during her Stitch With Me video, she said some amazingly kind things about how, I've started this movement, and that's a little overwhelming to hear, and, incredibly complimentary. But I think, to be fair and to be honest, Letitia, I love you, and I really appreciate your words, but I cannot take credit for this. I mean, this has been going on. I have only just started this. People have been doing these videos long before me. I just turned it into a little party so that everybody's coming together and doing sort of the same thing all at the same time. And it's not even really that. It's not even all at the same time, because let's face it, lots of you work on the weekend, and not everybody can join in on a Friday night because you're working shift work, or you're out with family, you're out with friends. And so Friday Off the Grid is just, it's a concept. It's a concept of join in when you can, when it's your time to stitch with me or stitch with all of the other people who are doing Stitch With Me videos. Because I think we all share that kind of pleasure in listening to someone else talk about the things that we are so very passionate about, because there are very few other people in our lives who truly understand. Now, I'm very fortunate. Where I live here, I have a core community of crafters, stitchers, and knitters that I have made friends with over the last 20 years, that I know many of you do not have the same luxury to be able to say the same thing. And so what I love about this sort of Stitch With Me community is that everybody who maybe doesn't have that kind of community in their own world, their own real life, this online community has grown so much, and to be able to share and talk and show what you're working on without, feeling like, I don't know, that someone won't understand what you're talking about or roll their eyes at you again about, your little hobby there. Because, let's face it, it is a passion. Even, it doesn't matter if you put 2 stitches in a week or 1,000 stitches in a week. It's something that we all share, we all enjoy. So the crazy thing about Friday Off the Grid is that I started a Facebook group. It's called Friday Off the Grid. Please join. It's a closed group. If you're interested, I do require that you answer the question that is put to you when you ask to join. And I know that seems ridiculous because, where else would you have heard about Friday Off the Grid? You would be surprised at the type of people, not the type of people, that doesn't sound right, but I have had to decline numerous requests, because Friday Off the Grid itself is a term that we apply to living off the grid, right? Well, people will try to join the group who are looking for off the grid groups, specifically living off the grid. And in the summertime, when I'm up north and I'm talking about my solar panels on Instagram, I have a lot of solar companies join my Instagram page. I think they leave fairly quickly after they get a little taste of what I really post on my Off the Grid Needlearts page. But I do have those kinds of folk try to join the group. I have fake accounts try to join the group. I have lots of people who are not there to look at my stitching try to join the group. So if you do not have a profile picture, if I cannot tell anything about you from your request to join the group other than, you're just wanting to join the group, I just need to know that you're a stitcher and that you want to join the group. That's all. So enough about that. Friday Off the Grid. So then, Ginger Gerald. I love him. I really love him. He is funny and, he's kind of quiet. If you've watched him, you know why we love Ginger Gerald. He's awesome. Well, he started his own weekly Stitch With Me video, and he called Saturday Off the Grid After Party. So that's on Saturday. And then I mentioned Michelle Bendy Stitchy. I said, Michelle Bendy Stitchy, you should come out with a Stitch With Me video too, because I know, I enjoy watching her videos, and why not? And so she did. She put out, what did she call it again? Oh yes, I have to get it right because it was good. Off the Grid Sunday Brunch, right? Letitia, the crafty curator, put out an episode this weekend, and I really hope that becomes a weekly thing. Stitcherista puts out a weekly Stitch With Me video, which I also love because I really enjoy her chatter. I enjoy her tips. I just enjoy listening to her. I know Calico Stitching has a Stitch With Me video. She has put out a couple that are no chatter, that are music. And I know Vana's got one out. There are a lot of them. So please, and also if you join the group, I have had some other people post their videos on Friday Off the Grid. If you're making videos yourself, tell us about them in the Facebook group so that we can come and visit with you as well. So I think that's enough information about that. There's an Instagram hashtag, Off the Grid Friday Party, and I know Michelle Bendy Stitchy made a hashtag for hers as well, and it is in her video. I think it was just Off the Grid Sunday Brunch. Pretty sure. Anyways, I'll edit it in. Right there. There. Who knows? It depends. When I'm doing the editing, that's another thing. I'm going to show you my stitching. Then I'll tell you about that. Okay. Off the Grid Friday Party. I kept stitching afterwards on my winter Quakers. And other than the white that I have in here, I'm thrilled with it. I would like a brighter white. So I am going to replace this. This is a Classic Colorworks, I think, antique lace. And I'm going to replace that with, it's either Weeks or Classic Colorworks, I can't remember. I'm going to replace that with a DMC, just a white, just a nice bright white. I'm going to take that out. So that's coming along quite well. That's Winter Quakers. And I left the main picture. I left my pattern upstairs, so I can't even show you the pattern. But you've probably seen it before, I'm sure. Anyways, this is the bottom left corner. So I will be stitching on this again on Friday night for the next party. So that was my Winter Quakers. And now I can't remember what I was talking about before. See, this is why I go down these rabbit holes, and then I try to rein myself in, and then I completely forget about which rabbit hole I was traveling down before. So I can't even remember. And I even have notes, and I cannot remember not one little bit. So I'll try to edit it in if I can remember. If not, I'll tell you on Friday. It couldn't have been that important. Okay, so moving on. I also this weekend worked on my Woodland Santa. Just a reminder, this is the one I'm working on right now that I worked a few weeks on the Stitch With Me video on the reindeer's backside, his hindquarters. And I've had a few people still working on their own reindeer or different pattern reindeer during the Friday Stitch With Me, which I think is quite fun. So my version, as you can see, I got quite a bit done this weekend. He has 4 legs now. Shocking. I had to rip out most of the shrub that's underneath the reindeer because it was riddled with mistakes. And so I've ripped it out and I have repaired here, and I just need to restitch what was over there. But other than that, it's coming along quite well. I'm quite pleased with it. I love the saddle on the reindeer. I think that is so pretty. Love it. So, Woodland Santa, that is the Prairie Schooler book number 96. And now I remember what I was going to say. It had to do with the editing. I had a lovely comment about my editing, and I haven't really talked about it much before, but you all know that I tend to edit in some little subtitles while I'm talking over top of what I'm talking about, and I pop in some subtitles. And someone wanted to know. She said, I always miss them because I'm stitching when you're talking, and then sometimes I'll look up and I'll realize that I've just missed something, or, you know, whatever. And I thought it was a very kind thing to say. And she wanted to know if I would put in a little notification or a little ding or something every time I typed in a notification, which I think is hilarious, because could you imagine every time there's a subtitle there's a little ding letting you know that it's there? And I am truly flattered, but I cannot do that. I'm sorry. I think that would drive people bananas. It would drive me bananas if I were watching that and there were a ding every time. Those comments that I make are silly, and they are silly for a reason, because when I don't like to take myself too seriously. And when I'm editing these videos and I hear myself say certain things, I am either totally embarrassed by what I've said, or I feel like I should be poking fun at myself for what I have said. So that's why I edit in, because editing, it's a little bit dull watching yourself back for an hour when you already know everything that you've said. And so to make it a little more fun for myself, that's kind of why I started doing that, was sort of talking to myself while I was doing the editing process. And I will most likely continue to do that because it's fun. I enjoy doing it. I like making fun of myself. But I don't think I can put in a notification every time I do it, because you would get very annoyed. Now, I know that Red Poppy Crafts on Instagram, she posted something really funny last week. She she posted a photograph that on Instagram that she was having dinner with. I was her dinner guest because she likes to watch the subtitles. So she watches my video while she was eating her dinner, and I thought that was quite funny. So if you like the subtitles, I don't know, watch it twice. That sounds ridiculous too. You're probably going to see a little subtitle about that. Yeah, don't watch me twice. I'm not that interesting. Anyway, once again, Winter Quakers. This will be the piece that you see again on Friday. And I hope that I have a few more stitches done before you see it again. No promises. And Woodland Santa, which I've already showed you. So those are my first 2 whips that I wanted to share. And the next thing that I've been working on, that I have put a little bit of progress in, is the Little House Needleworks Main Street Station, which I think is just so sweet. I love it. And mine is coming along. There's McDreamy in the corner. So I've finished the station house, and most of this tree is done. I just have to do the couple stitches of the trunk. This tree is almost done here. Now there are a couple more trees in the front of the station. You can see these small lighter green ones. I think that I may stitch them in the darker green color in the front, mainly because I don't have that DMC floss. That's my first reason why I think I'm going to just replace it, because I don't feel like, well, I don't know. I am supposed to be going to Thread and Eye this week, so stay tuned. You'll find out next week what I did. Dark green or stayed with the light green. We'll see. Anyways, I hope to finish that soon. I am stitching this on 28 count cashel linen, which it's just a lovely, lovely linen. I love it. The stitches are lying really nicely for me. Looks really nice. Okay, so that's that Main Street Station. And lastly, oh, and this is so good. I love this so, so much. And I know this is a favorite with everybody watching, if you've watched before. And if you haven't, if this is your first time here, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Welcome. I hope I haven't lost you so far with all my chit chat. You ready? Starry Skies, my counted canvas piece. Look at that beautiful thing. This is Regional Quilt Series from Nancy's Needle, and this is the Starry Skies pattern. Oh my goodness. And I have all of my stuff sitting on top of the canvas, so I have to move it. That's mine. That is the top. See, I know it's the top because I wrote the top on it. And I am now completely half done that one border. So that's not a lot of work that I've put in, a lot of time, I should say, but I've done a complete corner, probably in about an hour and a half of time. And I'm just thrilled with it. I love it so much. So it makes me very happy. I have been seeing more counted canvas work hanging around Instagram lately. Industrious Deb finished a piece just recently. I believe it was a Laura Perin design, a bear claw, if I'm not mistaken. It is gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm going to put her Instagram information on the screen so you can go and check it out because, wow, fabulous, fabulous canvas piece. Amazing. So those, I worked on all 4 of those things this week. Can you believe it? I have not worked on that many projects at one time, probably in a few months. So it felt like coming home. It was a really, really good week for me. It felt great. Okay, so that's it for whips for me. I will probably have equally as much to share with you next week because I've got some more time coming up this weekend. We have a work Christmas party on Saturday night, and if you know me at all, you know that I would probably rather be at home in my pajamas with my stitching. But I'm going to put my party hat on and go and be a good sport. I always have fun when I'm there. I always have fun when I go out and do things. It's getting up the, I don't know, is courage the right word? Getting up the, I don't know. You know what I mean. Those of you who are like me know exactly what I mean. Sometimes it's just hard to put yourself out there. So that's what I'm going to be doing Saturday night. So I can tell you that I will be really looking forward to several Stitch With Me videos to help me get back into my groove on Sunday. Can't wait. Okay, so other than that, one other little bit of stitchy information, and that is Ink Circle's Tapestry Stitch Along. This beauty right here, Ink Circle's Tapestry, right there, there is going to be a stitch along. And we have an Instagram hashtag, hashtag I see tapestry, like I see, not I see. That's gonna have something edited in for sure, probably an eye roll. Anyways, Ink Circle's Tapestry, and if you have this pattern or you want to join in, no rules at all. There is no deadline, there is no required fabric or threads. If you want to do it on Aida with DMC, or if you want to do it on 40 count linen with 1 strand silk floss, have at it. No rules. No, we're starting on December 6th, but if you don't watch this episode until January or February, join in, because guess what? I'm not going to be done this stitch along probably for like 5 years. So just being honest, I know myself, but I can't wait to start it, and I have to start it. So I'm starting it on December the 16th, and there are lots of other people who are starting it with me. A Stitch Too Far, I know for sure she's in. Kim in Canada, Ada Stitches. Oh my goodness. I know there's, and I did not write it down, so I know that there's lots more, but you know who you are. Join in, and we'll get a list going of who all is involved. I'm doing mine on 32 count Belfast linen, and the colorway is called Dirty Linen, and it's sort of a darker brown than the natural linen color. And then the flosses I'm using are the ones that are charted. So these are the colors. These are the colors that Ink Circle's charts for for this pattern. There you go. One more little sneak peek. December 16th. Would love to have you join us. It's going to be fun. Okay, so there's that. And the only other thing I wanted to share with you today was something that just pleased me to no end this weekend. And it's a very small thing, but I couldn't believe how happy it made me. It's ridiculous. The picture that you see behind me is the very neatest corner of my entire house. No joke. And it's not even that neat, is it? I mean, look at all that yarn up there. Needs knitting. So I have to clean out this house. I have to organize and get rid of and purge and clean and organize. That is my goal for the next 3 weeks, is to just rip the house apart and clean it and organize it, because it has been a crazy, crazy ride for the last 6 months, and my house is starting to suffer. So I would really like to start the new year with a clean, fresh start. And so I was at Michael's 2 days ago on the weekend, and I just went to buy a very small thing to do for an ornament. And I was there, and I walked past the display that was outside, and they had those photo storage boxes. on sale outside, and I spied a couple, and I thought, oh, those would work really well in my sewing space, because as you can see, I have these IKEA shelves. I have the ones that are behind me. I also have another set that you can't see that are across the room. I mean, half of my living room is my sewing space. And so the half of our living room is divided with the large IKEA bookshelf. It's just like this one behind me. And so these photo storage boxes work really well for hiding things and making them look tidy when you can just shove a bunch of stuff in the box, right? So, are you ready? Look at this box, you guys. It's got a bird on it. I love it. I love it so much. And not only did I get this one, but I got this one too. Birds! Love it. And do you want to know what thrilled me even more than the birds? And trust me, I find the birds totally thrilling. The price. The price on these boxes, $4.99 US, $2.50 Canadian. That, my friends, is unheard of. Our price is never cheaper than the US price because of exchange rate, right? $2.50, $2.50 Canadian for that box with the beautiful birds on it that I'm going to keep forever and ever. I couldn't believe it. I love it. And this one. I love them both so much. See, you can see a reflection of my really messy house. Don't worry. 3 weeks from now, my whole house is going to be perfect. It will be. Promise. Okay. So I think that's it. Absolutely no shop update today. Kathy and I are taking a few weeks off, but we are sewing. We are working on a big January shop update. So I'll let you know more about that when it's time. There are still a few bags in the shop. We still have some lovely little bags in the shop if you're still interested. I'm not closing the shop, but nothing new will be going in until January. So www.evertote.com. And thank you so much for all of the love and support that everyone has shown us in this, our first year of business. It has been a wild ride and so much fun. I can't even describe to you how much fun this has been, to be able to sew and send our bags out into the world and have you love them, which is amazing. So no other shop update other than that. The only other question that I can think of, a few other little bits of newsy information before I end off today. I've had a few comments about the knitting that I wear, because I love knitting. I love knitting. I don't knit as much as I want to because I don't have a lot of time, and I love to stitch. So, but a few of you have asked about the knitting that I wear and whether I would ever consider selling my knitting. And the answer is no, because I'd have to charge you about $1 million. I am a slow knitter, very slow knitter. Kathy, my sister-in-law, is way faster than me, but I really don't think she's a faster knitter than me. She only just works on one project at a time. She's a monogamous 1 or 2 at a time knitter. And so she tends to crank them out a lot faster than me, but I still don't think she would sell her knitting. I do know there are people who do sell their knitting or crochet online on Etsy, and lots of different places you can find it if you're looking for hand knit socks. If you're looking for hand knit socks and hand knit shawls, things like that, Etsy is just a wonderful place to search. You can even pump in the information where you live if you want to look for somebody who's local to you, a crafter who's local to you who is making and selling. The Etsy marketplace I love it. It's wonderful. And really being able to explore that and discover new vendors online who are, selling their handmade creations is wonderful. So no, I'm sorry, I don't sell my hand knits, but I highly recommend, if you're interested in knitting, learning how to do it, because it is a creative, wonderful, really satisfying hobby to have, and a lot faster than stitching. The things, well,
I say that. There's going to be more editing in there because that's a lie. It's not faster. It depends on the project. I like big projects. Same with stitching. So mine tend to take me a long time. Plus I'm not monogamous knitter or stitcher by any stretch of the imagination. So it takes a while for me to finish my projects. Anyways, I am going to end off today with a couple of suggestions of other podcasts that I have been watching this week and loving. And I hope that, you know, because I think we're always looking for a new friend to meet through YouTube and through Flosstube. And so I hope that you enjoy like I have. The first shout out I'm going to give is to Lily at 42 Stitches. I really, really enjoyed visiting with her. I loved her stories. I loved her stitching. I loved listening to her voice. I thought she was really a really fun person to visit with. So Lily at 42 Stitches, check her out. Another one was Mrs.Vendsel, and that I will put her information up on the screen. She is the cross-stitch counselor. I think she's got 6 or 7 episodes out. Her voice just makes you relax immediately. Immediately. I loved it. And I really enjoyed her podcast. So check her out. And last but not least, this is a knitting podcast that I'm going to recommend called the We Sew and Sew Knitting Podcast. And I believe also that she has 6 or 7 episodes out. And she is from the Scottish Highlands. And if you know anything about me, you know that I have a love of that Scottish accent. I could listen to it all day long. And Kaz from the We Sew and Sew Knitting Podcast from the Scottish Highlands, it doesn't get any better than that. I could literally listen to her read me an ingredient list from a packet of chips because, wow, love it. And her knitting is fantastic. She's wonderful. Wonderful. So the We Sew and Sew Knitting Podcast, I hope that gives you a few extra little friends to find this week online. And I'm going to try and have a few more suggestions for you next week. They're coming in all the time over on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. So if you're looking for more suggestions, join us over there as well. And hopefully we can help each other find different things to watch and see. So that's it for me today, guys. Happy Monday. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the like button, leaving me wonderful comments. Thank you so much for letting the ads play at the beginning. I really appreciate your understanding about me talking about that, mentioning it, and your support. It's been a great ride so far. And I'm really glad that you're enjoying the show. I'm glad that you're enjoying my yammering on and on and on a weekly basis. So I'll see you on Friday for the Stitch With Me. If you're interested, I'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday for little mini Vlogmas episodes this week. And if you don't care about any of that and you just want to come back next Monday for my weekly update, I'll see you next Monday. Happy stitching.